If you think about the timing, if my asking my friend Julie Gibson to be on this podcast, there's no better way for her to honor her brother or her brother's death than this podcast that she's on. And I just think that that is definitely a 15-minute miracle if there ever was one.
He fell into the opioid crisis, like many of his friends and many people that he, that was kind of his lifestyle. And he and I had some heart-to-hearts about it. We were very open and very close. And we talked a lot.
All right in the same area, too, That's always nice.
Yes. Yes.
And so... he died.
He thought he was bigger than that. He knew he was doing something he shouldn't.
Okay.
But because many of his friends died of heroin overdoses. I mean, several, more than the average bear. And he and I talked about it, and he got on the couch with me and said, I will never let that happen to me. I know my limits. I know, and he thought he was bigger than that, as most people do, but it turns out he wasn't, and it was really heartbreaking, and I think he would want people to know, that no one is bigger than that, and it doesn't matter how safe you think you're being or how much you think you know your limits. The fact is that you're getting something from someone you don't know, something that's not regulated, and there was fentanyl, and that's what killed him, and it's just, I don't know, it's just heartbreaking. And I know that he would want me to say that, and it's hard to say that, but that's the truth.
It's kind of weird to see someone, and I've got to know kind of everyone in your family. I love your family, and your mom and your sister. I've had your brother Clayton. I mean, but the deal is that number one, Ben was a good guy, and he is the perfect face for the problems that that this stuff has. And just to see, him be snuffed out when he clearly had so much to offer the world.
Right.
It's really, it's kind of amazing. And then to think about the timing and everything else, it's really strange to see how everything lines up, and there is a reason for this stuff. And even getting you to do a podcast, and not rolling your eyes and everything else. I mean, come on.
I'm rolling my eyes, too.
I can't see it. So anyway, it's like it's not happening. So, but, that's part of why I just think it's so great. And talk about how your family has dealt with that situation.
Well, first I want to go back to, because I jumped right into Ben. It was crazy and wild, but he was also brilliant. I mean, he was a great guy. He was the best. He was the best uncle to, our kids. He was a family guy. That's what's heartbreaking as well. He would have done anything for anybody, and he did. He would do just when he could, he was there and would give extravagant gifts and just do big surprises and do wonderful things for everyone. And he was brilliant. I mean, he knew it. He had the highest IQ out of all the siblings, and he would always rub that in our faces, And I don't know. Yeah, it's just my family's reaction to it has been, I don't know, hard, very, very hard in the beginning. It's, I don't know. Yeah, what do you say? It's awful. It's hard. It's been really hard on my mom. She did everything she could to keep this from happening. You know, and it still happened. It didn't matter how much she helped him and supported him and was there for him. It didn't matter, that his friends and other people around him became clean and sober, and everybody did everything they could. And I think there's a little bit of peace in that, but it's still just heartbreaking, and for me, it's the hardest to see my kids. I mean, he was a really big part of our lives right before he passed, so it was very unexpected. He was sober and was doing great. He was doing amazing. He and my son had started a new business together, and, you know, he was staying at my house, and everything was wonderful. And so that was the hard to see the kids have to go through that, and then to have to explain to your children, which we didn't want to. They idolized him so much.
Right. Sure.
To have to tell them the truth about what happened.
Yeah.
Because at first we didn't. Because we didn't want them to know, and then you know, my son started having nightmares. If it could happen to Uncle Ben, he could just randomly die. Why is that not going to happen to my mom? You know.
Yeah.
So then it got real, and then we had to tell them, well, Mom doesn't do some of those things. You know, Mom makes doesn't always make great choices, but she doesn't make those choices, so that's not going to happen to her. You know, so it's just been very eye-opening, and it's definitely brought us closer. You know, we've bonded together through this, but
well, and you guys were always close, so you know that's never been the question. You know, you guys have always, you know, stayed together close, and that's been great. But it is just amazing to see, you know, because there was a day when you and I are always kind of jokingly texting or whatever, and I said something, and you know, and I didn't even realize that it was bad, and later on, I'm like, I can't believe I just said that, because it makes so much sense when I think about the fact that your family is still dealing with this stuff.
Oh, I got overly sensitive on something.
I don't even remember what it was. Like, I think you had to rebel, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was not cool.
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of why I just think that, you know, I just think that your family is handling it well, and I also think that getting on here and talking about it and spreading the news that you're not too big, and just don't mess around with it. Just get away from it.
Yeah. I think yeah. I mean, I've been sensitive because I you know, the whole thing went around about insulin versus Narcan, you know, and people that I love and people that know me would say things like, these POS drug addicts can get that, you know, and it really hurt me, because just because you get addicted to something that you can't control does not make you a bad person. And you know, people make decisions every day that affect their lives, good or bad, and my brother's just happened to be one that was, you know, really bad, and he was born with genetics that really predisposed him to that. And you know, you don't have to be a bad person to become addicted to opioids or food or, you know, whatever it is that people are addicted to. And I would like, I don't know, I just would like people to understand that's not, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a failure. It can happen, and it's.
And so now that you know what you know, what would you tell people about how to help their addiction or whatever? You know, now's the time to take the floor and, you know, give your message about what you should do or not do.
You know, I wish I knew the answer to that, Dale. I'd be a freaking billionaire, right, if I knew how to make people not do that. But there's no right answer. But my answer to that, along with everything else, is talk about it. You know, talk about it. If you're having problems, if something's going on, talk about it and be there for someone. You know, like, I don't know. In my experience, punishing someone for a hard time they're going through does not help them. You know, and maybe it does for some people, maybe it does, I don't know, but for me, I am so thankful that I had those open conversations with my brother. I am so thankful for that, because it would have been much easier to just pretend or put it away or put it aside. And my family was really trying hard to help him become part of the family again, and support him, but not support his habit and that kind of thing. And
Right.
who knows? There's no right answer, but my answer is to just talk about it and to get rid of some of that stigma of
Right.
of opioids or drugs or whatever it is that's hurting you so much. They're just people, and they're dealing with their hurt and their anguish, and they're looking for love, and they're looking for it in other ways. So why don't we try to fill that cup with something positive, and so they don't have to run to that,
Right.
Be there even when they're at their lowest. Be there.
That's part of the deal is I just feel like, I really think that he's a good example of just kind of explaining, that you can have a good business like he did and have all the things going right and still have an addiction. And I just don't, that could be, that just can't be stated any stronger than that. It needs to be understood that this happens to everybody, and you would have never guessed that he would have a problem with that, and he did.
Right. He was a top salesman. He was doing great.
He was a really good guy. He was a really good guy.
He had so much to offer, and his life was cut short, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah.
And so anyway, let's spend a couple last minutes just taking some time to say, I really want to say that you've always been a good friend to me, and, you visited me during the strokes and everything, and that was nice. And, I just think that, everybody needs to know that there are always things to offer the world. And, that's why I thought getting you on this podcast was so amazing, not knowing the timing of my call, and and that's how I was able to get you to stop rolling your eyes and, come on here and do this.
As corny as it sounds, that was Ben doing it. I mean, I believe in that. It is. You can't. Yeah, we couldn't have planned it, but it's. But
and
you're near and dear. No, we didn't plan it. You're near and dear to my heart, Dale, and we have a connection. We've been friends for so long, and you've been there for me and my family so much. So I appreciate that too.
And that's why I just want to get you on today and let you tell this amazing part of the many, adventures and stories and friends that I've made. There's none that I love any more than Julie Gibson.
Listen to DaleWileyShow.com and listen to 15minutemiracles.com for more of these amazing stories.